You're listening to the Staffa Corner Podcast, a Staffa-tarian look at entertainment and life with your host, Greg Staffa.
My guest this episode is a talented young actress. She can be seen on films like On My Block, Heaven Sent, the 2016 remake of Adventures in Babysitting, but best known for her role as Destiny Baker on Disney Channel's series BUNK'D. Please introduce Mallory James Mahoney. Mallory, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
You might notice a dog in the background. What kind of dog is it?
I have a miniature Bernedoodle, so it's a Bernese Mountain Dog Poodle mix.
Oh.
His name is Lord Stanley.
You're 17. You've been acting since a very young age. What do you see yourself as? Because if I look back to when I was 17, what I was doing, I wasn't taking it very seriously. And I think we kind of tend to diminish young adults of what they are or what they claim that they're doing as a profession. Do you consider yourself, an actress, or is this something that you're exploring? What is your kind of definition of what you do?
I would say I definitely see myself as an actress. I was really lucky. I found what I love to do at a very young age, and I'm so grateful that I've been able to pursue it and keep working at it. And every day I'm just so excited to get to go and work in film.
What was your first introduction into the film or TV?
My first one was actually a short film called Dig, and it was a really fun experience. It actually ended up going to Sundance Film Festival, so that was kind of crazy that a few months after we filmed it, we got to go and be on a red carpet there and stuff. It was really cool. And
you like the red carpets and everything? Is that something you enjoy?
I would say it bothers me, but that's definitely not why I enjoy doing it. I prefer the acting side of it, but I don't mind people coming up and saying hi to me or wanting a picture, because I like knowing that people enjoy the show or enjoy the work that I do.
So what was it that got you interested in acting?
I would actually say it's probably when I was about 5 years old. I went to a play with my parents, and I was just sitting there and I'm watching them up there, and I'm like, something just clicked in my head. It was like, this is what I want to do. I would love this. And I was very shy as a kid, so my parents were like, no, there's no way, you'll hate it. And so I ended up asking them, for a year, and they finally put me in a local theater just to, scare me out of it, because they thought once I was up there, I would totally hate it. And I loved it. I ended up booking a solo in my first, show that I did, and that's just kind of where it all started.
You said you were shy. Is it because that you were playing someone else that you kind of lose yourself in that character, that you're no longer Mallory, you're someone else? And so Mallory may be shy, but the characters that you're playing, you kind of can immerse yourself in and be someone else. Is that what got you past it, or is it just...
Absolutely. That is honestly my favorite part of acting, because I love getting to kind of create these whole new personalities for these characters that I'm playing, and getting to kind of just explore as a different type of person who's totally the opposite of who I am, or maybe I find connections from who I am. But there's all these different routes that you can take to find out what you think this character is like, and I just think that's so fascinating. I love doing it.
You got past the shy part, showed your parents that you could do it. What was the next step of okay, I really want to do this now?
I ended up finding an agent in Texas where I live, and so I joined with her, and she got me into an acting class that's here. And through that acting class at Catherine Sullivan's Acting for Film, I ended up finding my LA agent, Jennifer Petratus, and then it just all started, snowballing, and I was going out for pilot seasons, and I booked my first pilot, my very first time out in LA, and I've been working ever since.
And have your parents, I assume they've come around now and said, well, we've created a monster by kind of daring her to do it, and now look at what we're doing. How have they been as far as the adjustment of seeing that this is something that is for real for you?
They are very supportive. Honestly, they're my biggest support system, and I'm so thankful for that. I think once they realized, like, I loved it and I really enjoyed doing it, they were totally on board. I think it is definitely an adjustment for us, though, because whenever I'm filming, my mom and I go out to LA, and my dad stays here with the dog, and so it's a little bit difficult being separated for so long. But we come back about 1 week every month or so we still get to spend time together.
I mean, you grew up in Texas, so there's a little bit of a Texas girl in you. What do you do to kind of keep that? I'm sure there's the Mallory that's the actress now, but there's also the Texas girl. You know, I mean, you're 17. What is there that keeps you grounded in Texas? What kind of things do you hang on to so not to lose that part of you?
I would say the biggest thing is, like, just hanging on to, like, all my family that's here, all of my friends. Like, I still have a ton of friends that live here in Texas. And when I'm home, like, I'm just a normal kid. I still have, like, chores to do. I got to take out the trash, skim the pool. I have just, like, this totally normal life whenever I'm back in Texas.
You're not like, Mom, I was on the red carpet yesterday and now I'm cleaning the pool.
He says, I don't care. You got to do your work.
17, so I assume they still provide you, like, teachers and stuff like that when you're on set?
Well, normally they would, but I am legal 18, so, like, I tested out where I don't have to do school on set.
Gotcha.
So I'm finishing high school on my own time, but I'm not doing it on set with a teacher.
Well, that must be kind of a relief for you.
Yeah, it is. It makes it a little difficult because I don't have a ton of time in my schedule to get my schoolwork done, but I make it work. Graduating in December this year.
Oh, okay. Now, one of the things I have to ask is, like, when I was 17, no one came to me as far as being a role model. No, I mean, I was just a 17-year-old dork. I got to imagine that, fairly or unfairly, you know, being on the Disney Channel and doing these movies and being a young 17-year-old, there's a lot of pressure to be a role model or to be an influence. Is that fair to say, or is that something that you welcome, or is it kind of like you wouldn't have asked that of a 27-year-old actress? Is that a burden? How do you kind of go about?
I feel like it's an amazing thing because I always try my hardest to be a very good person, and I try to show others, like, just how to be good in the world and just to treat everyone with kindness. And I'm so thankful that there are girls who look up to me and have, like, a good role model to trust, because not everyone is the best person to look up to, and so I try my hardest to be someone that's worth being a role model, I guess.
So you do it just...
I mean, I'm not perfect, and I know that, but I try my hardest to teach other girls just to do their best. There is definitely a different feel of just knowing people are always watching you, but I don't really mind it.
Well, that's good. Now, you've performed with several different actors and actresses. Is there anyone that you're, like, do you have a bucket list that you're, you know, one day I hope to work with so-and-so?
Ooh, a lot. I would say, let's see, like Reese Witherspoon, Octavia Spencer. I mean, there's so many. It's hard to pick just a few. I think Ryan Reynolds would be fun.
Who's been your favorite? Like, who's someone that you met, you thought they'd be bigger than life, and they were just like, wow, this is, like, one of the nicest people I've had to deal with. It doesn't even have to be a famous actor, just someone that's kind of really took you under their wing or kind of showed you the ropes, or who's someone that's been influential to you while you've been doing this?
I would say probably actually Justin Long. He was in my very first pilot I did, and he was so amazing. He was so nice to me, and I was just this little, like, 8-year-old girl, and he was so kind. I mean, he really just kind of, like, helped make me feel just more comfortable, I guess, on the set. And he brought his dog, and so I got to see his dog, and we kind of bonded over that. But he was just, like, really nice and really welcomed me in.
One of the things I've always kind of wondered is you have your own parents, but you often, being so young, you have people that play your parents. And I've always wondered, you know, do the kids from, like, Everyone Loves Raymond or some of these shows that you grow up watching the kids, do you stay in touch with, like, your fictional parents? How is that relationship? Are these actors and actresses, you know, are they mentoring, or is it when the show is done or the movie is finished filming, do you just go back to your own lives?
I mean, on BUNK'D, I haven't seen we haven't met any of my parents yet, but I did do a movie called Heaven Sent,
Mm-hmm.
where I had two parents, Marley Sheldon and Christian Kane, and I've actually stayed in touch with them. Like, we still reach out to each other on Instagram every once in a while, but we got really close, and they took me shopping together. They tried to, like, bond with me as if they were, like, my real parents, so we could have that on-screen chemistry.
Mm.
So I really loved them. It was so much fun. We actually went sledding together in the snow.
Oh, wow. That's Christian Kane from Leverage, right?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I love him.
He's amazing. He's amazing. I love him so much.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite TV actors. So you're 17. Do you see the next few years being a transition period as an actress to the kind of losing the kid roles and becoming more adult roles, or is it a natural progression? Is it something you're looking forward to?
I think I would love to, like, start. I don't know if I will be transferring much in the next few years, but I would love to, because I love a challenge in the acting world of, like, playing more characters and, like, growing more with my abilities. But I do still look pretty young, so who knows if I'll get many of those roles. We'll see. I
kind of touched on this earlier. The whole trusting that this is what you want to do. I mean, I'm in my late 40s. If I had, been asked when I was 17, 18, or what I want to do for my future, I would have no clue, and it surely wouldn't be this. I've done all sorts of things throughout my years. Is acting what you see as the future too? I mean, right now you're loving it and stuff like that, but have you thought about the future much, or is it just kind of go with what you got and see what happens from there?
I would say I do. Like, I see myself acting. I can't imagine not acting in the future. I love it so much. But I will say my parents have always told me, like, keep doing this as long as I love it. If I don't love it, then I can stop and go to college and figure out what I do want to do with my life. But I do. I love it so much right now, and I can't picture doing anything else.
Do you see college in some form being in there, kind of incorporating college between filmings, or taking classes online?
Absolutely. I love both. I really like learning, even if I'm not necessarily going to use it for my career. I just like learning different stuff, so I think it would be really fun to go to college and work on different classes.
And your mom goes everywhere with you?
For the most part, yeah.
And then you're shooting. I mean, have you shot? I assume most of your shooting has been like LA and stuff like that. Have you done anything kind of a little bit more exotic or a little bit more out there? Or you've had to do more traveling, or?
Yes, I did. Adventures in Babysitting was filmed in Vancouver, Canada. So that one was really fun. The whole cast was so close. Like, we became best friends, and it was just like a mini vacation for all of us. So that one was really fun. I filmed in Boulder, Colorado, and it was snowing, which I love because I'm a Texas girl. I barely see the snow, so it was so much fun. It's so beautiful there. But I've definitely loved doing some more, like, location-style shoots like those.
And what goes into deciding, what you should take and what you shouldn't take, or is it right now just kind of, I want to absorb everything, just kind of put myself out there and see what happens?
Well, right now it's been difficult for auditioning because I am very locked into my show, Bunk. So it's a bit hard for other shows. I mean, we did 30 episodes this year, so there's not really any time to film other stuff. But I love doing different auditions of totally different characters, like all over the spectrum of how people and characters are. But I love just trying out different things.
Is there a genre that you would like to explore? Or?
I think a really fun one would be, like, maybe a horror movie or a psychological thriller. I think that would just be a really fun movie to be a part of. Another one on my bucket list is, like, playing my own twin. I think would be so much fun. It's a lot of work, but I think it would be really cool.
Is there anything that, like, let's say Steven Spielberg came to you and said, I want you to help me tell the story of so-and-so. Is there anyone that you would say, this is a story I would love to tell?
Perhaps, like, Dolly Parton. She has a very interesting story, so I think that would be a fun one. Plus, we don't look too... we look pretty similar.
That would be kind of a fun one. She seems like just a nice, bubbly person. Have you met her?
I I have not. I wish.
Oh, okay. Let's say you have the day off. Other than going home to Texas, what kind of hobbies and stuff that do you do to entertain yourself?
There's a little bit of time of doing interviews, but I feel like most of my time I spend doing like just different hobbies that I like. I love aerial silks. I'm learning that right now. I'm working on ice skating. I love swimming in my pool, playing with my dog, reading books, just like normal stuff, drawing, whatever. I'm not really big into like the party scenes of it, I guess. So I would say like I prefer just like hanging out with my friends, just, having a night in. But yeah, I feel like I just live a very normal life whenever I'm not filming.
What would you advise like a young woman is curious about the acting bug? What advice would you give to them?
If you want to start acting, I would say just be prepared to hear the word no a lot, because they tell you no for the most random things sometimes, but you got to be ready to hear it and don't let it make you lose like your confidence. Stay strong, keep working at it if you really love it. Now,
you said the no part, like it stuck with you very much. Was there something, because you said random no. Give us an example of a random no, if you will. You don't have to say who it was, but what's like an example of a random no that you're talking about?
Well, within like a month period, I probably got no's on different parts and characters because they said I looked too young, and then like a week later they would say I looked too old, and they were like characters that were like the same age. So it really just depends on people's preferences of what they want this character to look like. Gotcha. And so sometimes you just don't fit that mold.
I guess the lesson is not to take it personally. They have kind of their image set in mind, and whether or not you fit it is two different things.
Don't let it affect you, yeah.
Now, you're at an age where you still absorb wealths of information. As a kid, we're always discovering and learning from what we know and see. Is the outside part of acting something that interests you? Where you see casting, where you see directing. Is that anything that interests you?
I would love to direct. I'm so fascinated on like the behind the camera, like all the behind the scenes stuff of that, and I think it is so cool, and I would love to be able to do it someday. Just getting to put all like the little pieces of a TV show together, I think is so cool.
You've had your fair share of different directors. Do they treat you overall as an adult fairly well, or?
Well, we do get a new director like almost every single week, so I definitely have seen quite a few of them. For the most part, everyone treats me like an adult. I feel like that's also changed, though, from like when I joined the show in season 3, like they were treating me more like a little kid then, because I was one. I was only 12 years old, and I was new. I had never been on a TV show before. But kind of after that first year, they started treating me as more of an adult because I kind of knew what I was doing, and I figured it out. And I always try to be very professional on the set. So, like, I want to direct, and that's a big part for me. So I want to treat other directors with respect.
So it had less to do with your age and more to do with your experience. The more you got the experience, the more you got the respect.
Yes, definitely.
You do all these interviews. What's a question that you don't get asked that you wish someone would ask you?
Ooh.
Because I've done countless red carpets, and you always feel dumb that you're asking the same thing. What got? I'm sure I'm not the first person to ask you what got you involved in acting, and so there's a series of questions I have to ask that you just kind of go, yep, that's what he asked, and that's what he's going to ask, and that's what he's going to ask. But is there anytime I come out of a job interview, I'm like, oh, they didn't ask me about this. So what's something or two things that press people don't ask you about that you wish you could share a little bit about?
Ooh, I don't know if I have any. I feel like most of the bases are pretty well covered.
Okay. Fair enough. I just wanted to give you an opportunity for that. Do you do any charity work, or do you do anything to give back? I assume that you do some stuff with animals, given your love of them.
Yes. I actually work with a lot of charities and nonprofits. I work with the Christopher and Dana Reeves Foundation. I work with Freshwater Project International, Project Chimp. I have a lot of different foundations that I support and try to help out as much as I can.
Oh, that's good.
I feel like it's so important to kind of give back to the earth and try and leave the world better than it was when we came into it.
What's kind of the lasting impression that you want to be left with when people meet you or see you on screen?
I think I would love to know that I have moved someone and made them feel something through the work I was doing. I feel like that is such an important part of the industry, and why we create TV and film is to really make people feel stuff and have emotions about what they're watching. And I feel like that's kind of such an honor for when you can have that experience from watching someone.
And as an actress, have you thought much about the future? Have you thought, the 5-year plan? I mean, your mom, as you get older, your mom's not going to have to go with you as much as she might want to go with you. There's going to have to be kind of that cutting of the umbilical cord, whether mom wants it or not, or whether you want it or not. Have you thought about the transitions that's going to be happening in the next few years as you become more of an adult, not only an actress, but as a person?
Absolutely. I've been thinking about that a lot, very much. I think my mom won't be too upset to be back in Texas for a while. She always misses it when we're in LA. Mm-hmm. So I don't think she'll mind it too much. And I even, I handle everything for my work myself. When I go to set, I just go out myself and I learn all my lines. But it's always nice having her with me.
Now,
she just kind of helps ground me so I can always be my own person.
Well, that's good. Now, I know that if I was your age doing the celebrity interviews that I have done, if my parents were around watching, me interact with some of these celebrities, they might go nuts. I have to maintain a professionalism. I've interviewed people like Pierce Brosnan, where the inner child in me is all giddy interviewing, James Bond, but I have to remain calm and cool. Has your mom ever, though, let's put her out there, has your mom ever lost it, seeing an actor or an actress that you get to work with or anything like that?
No, she hasn't. I will say one thing for her, though, is I don't think she fully realizes. Whenever we see a celebrity in public, she always thinks it's someone that she knows from high school. So that's definitely interesting. So I wouldn't say she ever freaks out too much when she sees a celebrity.
Well, that's good. So in your time that we have remaining, tell us a little bit about BUNK'D.
Well, we just got picked up for season 7 of BUNK'D.
Congratulations.
It is about a summer camp, and I started as a camper, and now I'm a counselor. And actually, in season 6, we moved to a ranch, so now we are Ranch Kikiwaka instead of Camp Kikiwaka, and all the characters got to learn a little bit more of the ranching way of life, and I loved it because we got to have lots of animals this season, which is always so much fun. I am so excited to get another season. I would love to be on the show as long as they're happy to have me. I love working, and I've got to have my character grow so much throughout the years, and she's even become a little bit more like me, which is really nice. And I think she's such a fun character to play, so I would love to keep playing her for as long as possible. Do
you have a lot of input in your character and where things go, and are you able to say, hey, that's not something my character does or doesn't do?
Our show is definitely very collaborative, and yeah, with a lot of the things for our blocking or our movements in the show, if a director who's just coming in and has never been on the show, they'll sometimes even just ask us, what do you think you would be doing right now? How would you be spending your time? And that's one nice thing, because we have learned what we think our character would be doing, which someone who's brand new coming into it might not know.
Where can people find you on social media?
You can find me at Mallory James Mahoney on Instagram, Facebook, and I believe Twitter too.
Okay. Give a thanks to your mom. I don't think your mom gives enough credit for how well you've done as a young adult now.
Yes, I'm so thankful to her. Thank you. I'll definitely tell her when I see her too.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Have a nice day.
Bye.
Thank you. That does it for this episode. Thank you for listening to the Staffa Corner.